As the gardening season is coming to an end, it is time to start thinking about our gardens for next year. And so I wanted to go over just some of the basics that I would have in my wellness garden. So this is perfect if you are a gardener, or maybe you just want to know what herbs are good for your body. And there are quite a few, but these have been my top 6. Now, a quick disclaimer before I say anything else in this video. I'm not a doctor. I'm not medically educated. Someday I will be, but today is not that day. And so all of this stuff is either that I've learned myself just from being out in the garden and seeing, oh, this helps with this helps with this, or it's stuff that I have researched online and, seen people make videos about or Googled and kind of went through those websites. But I am not medically trained. So before I'm going to talk about a few things that may help lower your blood pressure or make it be a diuretic. Before you go doing anything, taking yourself off of any medication, please talk to a doctor, because I am not one. So number 1 on my list is one that I'm sure you have heard of. It grows rapidly in the garden, and once you plant it, you can never really get rid of it. And that is mint. So mint is great for so many things. It has digestive health benefits. It'll get rid of your headaches. It's great in tea. It's a bug repellent. It has so many great things that are associated with it. So I can go into a little bit of each detail on mint. So the first one that I use it for the most is as a bug repellent. In the summer, we tend to have a lot of mosquitoes where I live. That's just how it goes. We have a pond down in our yard, and there's a lot of them. And so what I'll do is I'll take the leaves of my mint plant, crush them up in my hand, and quite literally just rub them all over my body. You can make a spray out of it. I haven't done that. I probably should do that. But it's just easiest for me to take a couple of leaves and rub it over, and the bugs leave me alone for the rest of the day. I have no other bug bites. I do smell like mint. There's worse things to smell like. But it works. It really works well. The mosquitoes hate the smell. So we also can use our mint for headaches. People sell mint rollers online that you can roll underneath your nose, or some people just, crush it up and smell, and that's what we do. My boyfriend gets pretty bad headaches sometimes, and I got him a little mint roller. He'll smell some mint, and sometimes it'll help, sometimes it won't, but sometimes it will help. It's also great if you just need to clear out your nose real quick, or maybe if you want to put it in a diffuser, that'd be nice. It's kind of got a calming scent to it as well. And lastly, for mint helps with digestion. It helps with indigestion, it'll help with heartburn, it'll help with nausea. There's a reason that when you're sick, people tell you to take crackers and the little peppermint candies. It's because it truly does help with nausea, however you want to say it. So number 2 is going to be kind of an obvious one. You've heard it literally everywhere. But that's going to be lavender. So lavender it can be an evergreen in your garden. It's a perennial. It grows all year round. Lavender smells great. It looks pretty. It's great for the pollinators, but it also has many benefits for us. Obviously, you see all these lavender scented products everywhere. It is relaxing. It's naturally relaxing. It will help you fall asleep, but it is also anti-anxiety, and I think that is, definitely should be on the wellness spectrum is anti-anxiety. So having lavender, sniffing it is anti-anxiety, but also it is an anti-inflammatory. And so while you're over here, getting better sleep, having less anxiety, you're also going to be less inflamed. And I find that very high on the wellness spectrum. So this next one isn't an herb, but it still should go in a wellness garden. It's one that you hear about in a lot of like fire cider and kombuchas, and you can find digestive pills that you can take over the counter for it. It's great just chopped up and eaten, and that is ginger. So ginger has a lot of health benefits to it. The main one being that it helps with digestion. And so you hear a lot of people, they eat a stick full of ginger before they have a meal, or maybe they eat it first in the morning, and it's supposed to help with anti-bloating, anti-inflammation, and it will help speed up your digestion process, which may help lose weight if you do it often enough. Because it helps so much with digestion, it will help with bloating, and it will also help with gas. And so if you are somebody that may have like allergy, or oh, maybe I ate something that I wasn't supposed to, eating some ginger will really help to digest that down and kind of make that process as easy as it can be. And while it may seem counterintuitive, especially if you've ever just eaten ginger straight, it does actually help with heartburn. And so if you eat enough ginger, it will over time help your stomach settle, and so your heartburn will also settle. I know that seems counterintuitive because you eat it and you're like, but believe me, it will. Now this next one is one that I've grown in my garden every single year. I love it so much. It has so many different medicinal purposes, and it's really kind of easy to grow until it gets super hot out, which is generally around like June, July for me. And so that is chamomile. I have just a little bit of it left, but this is all dried chamomile from my garden this past year, and we love keeping it around, mainly for our teas. We put in a lot of teas, but people also make salves out of them, tinctures, pretty much everything, and you name it, because it has so many benefits to it. And so obviously the one that everybody uses it for, it is like a anti-anxiety, it's a calming, it's a, you know, a really pleasant smell, and it's good for relaxation for sure. Among the relaxation, it also helps us go to sleep, although those two are probably correlated, and it also helps our digestive health. Having chamomile tea or having some sort of chamomile tincture really helps to speed up our digestion and just make sure that our tummies are, you know, not rumbling a whole bunch. Along with the digestive advantages, chamomile also has plenty of skin healing properties, as it is shown to soothe sensitive skin, and it is also a natural microbial, so it helps keep some of that bacteria out when we may have a cut or some sort of opening in our skin, and it'll help keep it clean. Now this next one is one that I grew only this past year, and I loved it. It is such a good cool weather crop, and it is a pretty flower as well, and that's going to be calendula. So calendula is also multi-purposeful. It is good for our skin, and it also reduces inflammation. And so if you have a calendula tea, you have that enough, you will once again reduce inflammation. There's kind of a pattern here with all these herbs, but I think lower inflammation is definitely something that relates to being well. And so calendula does reduce inflammation, but people also mostly use it for skin cells. And so calendula has a lot of really great healing properties in it. It's good for soothing skin. It's good for minor scrapes and cuts and burns and even bruises, I think. Keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, but this is what people tend to use it for. And I also love calendula because it is a cool weather crop. It will not grow in the middle of the summer for me. It just dies off. It's too hot for it. I get it. It's too hot for me too. But we can grow it in our spring and our fall when we have all those other crops that are just green. You know, we have some back there. We have our dill and lettuce and broccoli and whatnot. Those are great. They're great. They're full of nutrients. They're, you know, healthy for us. They taste good, but they're all green. You have a whole bunch of green, and then you have some orange or some pink or some yellow, or, you know, a mix of all of them. And they really stand out, and they're a really great way to add a pop of color into your garden when everything else might be a little glum and green. So herb number 6, I really don't know if it's an herb or if it's a plant. I haven't really looked into the family of it that much. It is one that we started growing last year, and I've never heard of it before this. I've never heard anybody talk about it. It is the strangest thing to me, and that is the toothache plant. So the toothache plant grew these little spilanthes. You might have heard the guy from Baker Creek be like, check out these spilanthes. Yeah, these are these, or these are those. So it is called spilanthes, but it's also called toothache plant. Confusing, I know. It put out these little buds. They're little flower buds, and these, I think they're so pretty, but they're also such a unique plant. Here I can do like the little influencer like. So these are called buzz buttons as well. They have a whole bunch of different names. These are all from our garden this past year. We had a whole load of them, but they're so fun to use. And so These toothache plants create these flowers, and when you bite down on the flowers, if you chew them up, it'll make your whole mouth go numb. Now, why I put this on the wellness spectrum is because if you have any sort of bacteria in your mouth, or you can swallow it and you have any bacteria in your gut, these are an antibacterial and antimicrobial, and they will help kind of kick whatever that is in the butt. They're also great for keeping our mouths clean. You chew one of those, you chew it up, and all that nasty bacteria that you may have in there and those little cavities, it'll help clean those out. It won't be like a toothbrush. Not even close. However, it will keep anything like a cavity or maybe any opening or sore that you have in your mouth. It will help the odds of it not getting infected. Not to say that it won't get infected, but the odds of it getting infected are going to be much lower chewing one of these. These are also dried. I have these dried for our cold and flu season. Maybe y'all can tell, I'm a little nasally right now, and these make a great tea for kind of numbing out your throat, having a sore throat, and if nothing else, they're just kind of cool. Like, it's just fun to go around the garden and be like, oh yeah, watch this, take a bite out of it, and your whole mouth go numb. Like, these toothache plants or spilanthes are also a natural diuretic, and so that means that you ingest them and they will help get your excess fluid out of your body. It's like when people with high blood pressure take a water pill. You get that excess water out of your body. It kind of lets your body work just a little bit less, and it eases up on your heart, and you can take a blood pressure pill, or you can take some of these. Not that they are the equivalent. Obviously, the blood pressure pill is going to be much, much more strong. But if you need just a little something, those are my go-to. I hope this video gave you some ideas of what you can plant in your garden, or maybe herbs and plants that you can just ingest yourself to live a little bit healthier, feel a little bit better. And if you learned something, please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you disagree or agree with anything or have any other ideas for a video. I would love to hear everything that you have to say. Happy gardening.